It appears that a long-lost Tesla feature may have actually hit the market, and hopefully we can get some more clarification from Tesla on this soon, but a powered Frunk installation specialist that goes by the name of Tesla Frunk on Twitter seems to be testing out a more recently delivered Model S, and within the software, he was able to access the screen tilting feature, which way back in January of 2021, when Tesla first updated the website with the updated design, there was references on the site to this screen tilt functionality, and even during the delivery event in June last year, there were employees mentioning that potentially in a future software update, the screen would actually be capable of tilting itself. Now, there have been teardowns and people driving around the refreshed Model S's and X's for a while, and until today we haven't seen any evidence of this feature actually being accessible. Basically, the closest thing we've had is the Plaid Model S teardown from Sandy Munro, which detailed that yes, there are actuating arms behind that screen, but in their teardown they discovered there were not the necessary motors required to actually physically tilt that display. So they talked about in their video that there's a chance in the future Tesla may offer retrofits, or with future iterations of the Model S and X they may start activating those motors, which would enable the display to move. And it sounds like, based on the source Ryan McCaffrey has on Twitter that he tweeted about a few days ago, Tesla may have finally started including these motors, which is pretty dang cool, because we've honestly never had a vehicle from Tesla that had a display like this that could physically move itself closer to the driver if you're the only one in the car, or even pivot itself to the passenger. Perhaps if you're supercharging and the driver's inside going to the bathroom or getting some food and the person in the car wants to have the display a bit more pivoted towards them. It's a really cool luxury feature that I could absolutely see coming to all Teslas in the future. Knowing how similar the Model S and X interior features are to the Cybertruck prototype, it's making me wonder if the Cybertruck is also going to be rocking this screen tilting kit. And for the record, the reason we're fairly confident this is not an aftermarket addition is because the user is clearly able to adjust the screen position based on options and toggles built into the software. So Tesla's software in their operating system is pretty locked down. That's not really something you can add aftermarket fairly simply, so that's why I'm convinced this is a feature coming to all new Model S's and X's. And if you've taken delivery recently and you can't find the feature in the OS, I think it's very possible that perhaps the guy experimenting with this Model S was using a vehicle with beta software. Maybe an employee had taken delivery of a Model S recently and they were getting their powered Frunk installed, so this guy got to play around with the settings and found it. So I think it's only a matter of time before this software update goes live for everybody, and if you have a somewhat recently delivered Model S and X, then you'll have the screen tilt mounting feature. But of course, now the question remains, what about people who took delivery of a refreshed Model S or X earlier, like last year, and they don't actually have the motors in there to move the display back and forth? Then what happens to them? Tesla probably covered themselves legally in some fine print so that they don't have to offer retrofits, but absolutely, here's hoping they offer it to those who don't have that feature, because frankly, I think there was a lot of people that ordered the vehicle when that screen tilting feature was still listed on the website, and maybe Tesla could be in some legal trouble potentially if people find out that, hey, you said that would be a feature and you said it would be an over-the-air update, but there's all these people that can't utilize the feature. So perhaps supply chain issues or chip shortages was preventing Tesla from adding it on day one. Maybe those issues are now gone, so they can start adding it both to the S and X, but I think it's still pretty darn cool, you know, better late than never at the end of the day. And my only concern is that based on the video, it seems kind of loud and a little bit slow.
Look this.
Makes me wonder how it will age, like if it starts to wear out over time. That would be kind of annoying. You know, Tesla already limits how much you can adjust your seating position, so perhaps they'll limit to how often you can pivot the screen tilting kit. But what would you guys prefer? Do you like the motorized approach, or would you prefer more like the Tech Forum accessory where you can actually physically adjust it yourself just by hand instead of having motors pivoted around? What makes more sense to you guys? Feel free to let me know in the comments below. Thank you to everyone supporting the channel over on Patreon. It seriously helps out a ton, as does just watching these videos, so take care. Have an excellent rest of your day.